Hey guys, so earlier today I spoke about, the absolute stupidity of Orthodox Jews arguing about nonsensical things or things that are, kind of wedge issues just within the Orthodox Jewish world. And I basically said that it's stupid. One of many reasons it's stupid is because, you know, I know coming from the secular world for the first 30 years of my life that secular people look at all religious people, religious Jews, Orthodox Jews, as a monolith, right? They do not discern between the various groups, the various philosophies, the various, whatever, right? Political stances, what have you, right? And then when you zoom out even further, anti-Semites don't discern between religious and secular Jews. To them, we're all the same, right? And so here we are arguing about, for example, right, whether it's certain religious Jews arguing amongst each other, or secular versus religious arguing about what issue? The fact that, Haredim have to go to the army. And it's stupid to argue about that because, first of all, folks, we don't really need most of the Haredim to go to the army. Secondly, what is it called? Secondly, it's stupid because we're in a war, right? And we have an external enemy, and then so fighting amongst each other is very, very stupid. Whether you're talking about just inside the Orthodox world or secular versus Orthodox, right? My friends, but there's one thing I didn't mention, right? And it's kind of I don't want to say controversial, but it's kind of a thing that our sages spoke about. And they talked about specifically within the Orthodox world before Mashiach would come, in the era just before the Mashiach, within the Orthodox world, there would be Erev Rav, there would be, rabble-rousers, people who would come, so to speak, in the name of Hashem, in the name of the Torah, and in the name of all these wonderful things, right? Claiming to be in the name of those things, but really, those people are here to sow division inside the nation, whether it's within the Orthodox world itself or between Orthodox and secular. It doesn't matter. And yeah, we have Erev Rav, by the way, in the secular world as well, right? I'm not going to say their names. We all know who they are. But specifically in the Orthodox world, my friends, we have people who come and they want to basically sow division. And I mentioned in the video today that we don't have leaders anymore. We don't have all of our big rabbis, all of our what's called Gedolei Hador. The big rabbis of the generation, scholars of the generation. They're all leaving us. They're all, I hate to say, passing like flies. Dropping like flies, but they're all leaving us one after the other, right? We have maybe a couple of them left. And by the way, our sages told us, once these rabbis all pass away, the ones who are quote-unquote publicly recognized as Gedolei Hador, and we know who they are, right? We can, at least the ones we can see. I'm excluding what's called the 36 hidden tzaddikim, but the public ones, the scholars, we know who they are, right? And once they leave us, right, then the Mashiach can come. So right now, what's happening? We're sitting here and we're wondering where are our leaders, right? I mean, we still have these Torah scholars, but we don't really have leaders that are recognized by all the Jewish people, right? Somebody like the Lubavitcher Rebbe, we haven't had that since him, right? Basically. Maybe Rebbe Kanievsky, certain people in the secular world recognized him, and a lot of people in the Jewish, in the Orthodox world. Maybe Ovadia Yosef. That's probably the last time we had what's called a globally recognized in terms of all the Jews leader. Probably Ovadia Yosef. So basically, we haven't had a person like that, again, if you don't count Rabbi Kanievsky, maybe you could say, we haven't had a person like that in like 12 years. Right? And if you want to go even further back to Bavitch Rebbe, we haven't had a person like that in, almost 32 years. Right? 31 years, right? So, my friends, right now we're in a situation we don't really have leaders. And on top of that, we have people stoking division, whether it's within the Orthodox world itself or between the Orthodox world and the secular world, right? Again, guys, I sat there earlier today and I kind of ranted at this whole thing. And listen, I don't think I'm wrong, right? And I basically called out and I assessed the situation. But here's the thing, guys. I didn't mention in my kind of heat of the moment thing, I didn't mention where this comes from or who perpetuates it, right? Because again, guys, yeah, people, regular people don't just get, don't just start these arguments unless somebody incites them, unless somebody puts ideas in their head, unless somebody riles them up, right? Like today, I read a post by a person. I guess, I don't know if he's a thought leader, maybe self-appointed. He wrote about this whole thing, Haredim come to his town in Israel to, visit his town, and it's kind of a tourist attraction. The whole area is a tourist attraction, and they come. And in particular, these are people who don't have to serve in the army. And, he said, people in my town are guys who are religious but also served in the army. We lost a lot of people, and then we have these Haredim who come and they're frolicking and they're enjoying themselves. And he said, can you please not frolic in front of my face, so to speak, like that, right? So now, I ask a question. Is this person just expressing his emotions, which is understandable? I don't, whatever. I don't blame him. Or is this a person who actually is, so to speak, religious, so to speak, Shomer Shabbat, eh? But at the same time, he's against this group called Haredim in general. Eh? I don't know. I don't know the person well enough to make that judgment call. I really don't. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm saying that he, that he is just, upset, whatever, His town lost a lot of people and all the rest of it, and he's just expressing his emotions. Okay. But folks, this is the kind of stuff that, this is like the last thing we need. It's the last thing we need on in terms of, within the religious community, but also the last thing we need kind of for people to see from the outside, people who are from the secular world, or people just non-Jewish people who are just seeing, okay, like Jews are embattled, they're in a war, right? Again, I mentioned the Klausenberger Rebbe. He said, in the camps they shaved all their beards and nobody knew who was who, right? He didn't know who was who, so everybody was Jewish, everybody was on the same level. And that was it, my friends. So, at the end of the day, imagine a scenario. Haredim come to this guy's town, and they're frolicking and enjoying themselves and whatever, and then all of a sudden, everybody hears the sirens. So everybody who's in that town, the Haredim, the Dati Lumi, hear the same siren. They all go into the same bomb shelter at the same time. Folks, that's it. There's no more delineation of who's who. In fact, the grandparents of these religious Zionists, or great-grandparents, let's say, or great-great-grandparents, probably came from the same town as these Haredim. How's that one, guys, right? So in the end, they're having a little bit of a reunion, right? My friends, And then if both those groups find themselves in Tel Aviv, right? And then a siren goes off in Tel Aviv, and then they're sitting in a bomb shelter in Tel Aviv with some secular Ashkenazi guy, and then they start doing some Jewish geography. They're gonna find out that their great grandparents or great grandparents came from the same place, came to Eretz Israel from the same place, right? The Yoli guy, the Dati Leumi guy, and the secular Tel Aviv guy are gonna find out that their great grandparents came from the same place, right? And something happened along the way where one group stayed this, one group became that, and the other group became secular, right? But folks, in the end, the same ballistic missile is coming for them. Again, my friends, this is what the Erev Rav is doing. They're trying to separate all these people. They're trying to delineate. They're trying to take a group of people that are essentially one neshama, just wearing different, what's called levush, different clothing, right? Different parts of the neshama are clothed in different clothing. And they're trying to, say that it's the clothing, the levush that is the focal point of the whole thing. And because of the levush, because of the externals, this is what we should focus on. And, this is what should rile us up to be upset at the other guy. My friends, when Mashiach comes, we are told that he's going to be able to sniff out who is with Hashem and who is not. And he will be able to see beyond the clothing, beyond the costume, right? And he'll be able to see, well, here's this secular guy in Tel Aviv, and he's got a way bigger neshama than the dude who's wearing the costume, right? Or the other guy who's just wearing a little kippah, whatever it is, right? Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. All I'm saying is, folks, every Jew has a neshama. And again, our enemies do not make distinctions. Our enemies are merely lobbing all these ballistic missiles in one direction, right? The city of Bnei Brak is right next to the city of Tel Aviv. So if they're aiming at Tel Aviv, and something screws up in the guidance system, and they miss, they wanted to hit North Tel Aviv, but instead of hitting North Tel Aviv, they hit Bnei Brak, right? Folks, they're happy just the same. They're happy just the same. So, my friends, again, all this stuff that we're talking about, all this stuff that we're arguing about, especially at a time like this, again, whether it's within the Orthodox world, whether it's within or between Orthodox and secular, just understand, folks, there are people on the outside, there are people, so to speak, above us in the political arena who like this kind of stuff. They like it that there's divisions in society. They enjoy it. They love it. I mean, it's their favorite thing. It's how they get elected. What is it? Divide and conquer, right? So, my friends, this is something that we have to really be aware of, and just understand that we're all one. Whether we're living in Chutz La'aretz or Israel or, wherever. And at the end of the day, we're all one. That's it, guys. Mazel tov.